All right, welcome back to another episode of The Great Area. I'm Mchezo Bwana here with TJ. What's going on, TJ?
What's up, brother? How you been?
All right, so you wanted to talk about a few different things going on in the news. One was the white lady in Central Park that called the police on the black guy and accused him of attacking her. Well, he had her on cell phone footage, and clearly she had made that up. And then the other big story is George that was murdered by the police officers, and it's sparking
make sure we know
outrage.
Yeah, let's use his name. And every opportunity, let's use his name.
Okay, so you wanted to speak about that. Let's first start with the whole thing, the issue in Central Park with the white lady calling the police on a black guy. Obviously, we've said this stuff happens. It just got filmed where she clearly was able to throw it into victim mode very fast. And, she knew the consequences if the police would have came guns a-blazing, that it would possibly be, this black guy being shot. The other thing is, I guess she worked for like an investment firm. And this is what I'm saying. When you have people like this, these undercover racists, for you to be interviewing for a job and then you have somebody like this that's interviewing you, then you can kind of see why you don't get the job. But I just wanted to get your opinions on what we saw and with that footage in Central Park.
So I know for a fact, like, if anything ever happens to me, between me and a man that's not white, doesn't matter if he's black, whatever, he's just a person of color, I know I can use that card. I know it.
So you can use that card?
Yeah, I know I can use that card.
How do you think you know that? Is that like by osmosis, or do you think it's trained? Do you think it's just innate? Like, why do you say that?
Well, just like racism, like, I think, in America, it's trained. It's trained. Like, I know I can use that card. Would I? No. Like, part of me would just stop. I don't care what any kind of, situation it is, I'm just going to stop and I'm going to be like, no, man. Me and this dude are having an argument. Not me and this black dude. Not me and this Mexican dude. Not me and this Asian dude. Like, me and this dude are having an argument. And I would stop myself from doing what she did. Man, she did not stop.
But you did see how she was doing the dog also? Clearly crazy.
Yeah, I think the dog knew what was going on. The dog was like, yo, bitch, I don't want to be part of this.
And then she was done choking him. Like,
she literally said, she goes, I'm going to call the cops. And I'm going to tell them that an African-American, and that's how you know that someone doesn't know a black person, because they call them African-American, right? So she was like, I'm going to tell them that an African-American man was trying to threaten my life.
But she tried to ruin this guy's life. And how many other people do? How many times does this happen where we don't actually have a camera? Because, I noticed with racism, a lot of cases like this, a lot of white people get the benefit of the doubt in the media.
That man didn't have a camera. Thank God for that man that he had a camera. Like, dude, if he didn't have a camera, that poor man's in jail.
You got a lot of black people that's in denial because they're scared, basically, to accept the truth, and because they're not going to do anything. That's why black people live in denial so much. The thing is, a lot of these people are liberals that's calling the police on black people. It's not just conservatives or so-called rednecks and all this stuff. It's people up north. You see this is happening in New York also. The police incident happened in Minnesota. So it's all over. So, black people have some have such low self-esteem that they want to be accepted by something that's so evil as racism. And, you're backwards and you're confused. Now, but like I said, it's good that he recorded that, because who knows what would have happened. And at this point, whenever you call the police on a black person, you might be putting their life at risk. And she knew that, and that's why she did it.
Well, straight up is white people, all of them like to pretend like they're not racist, all this stuff. And, we've talked about this before, but I'll tell you right now is like, something like that happened to me, I'd be tempted to play that card, but, I wouldn't.
You'd be tempted to play what card?
Just be like, hey, man, you're black, I'm white. I'm going to call the cops. Let's see who goes to jail.
So you think that's kind of like something that's a go-to for some white people that are low-key racist?
For some, and they, I don't think they know that they're racist.
They're just pre-programmed, right? They're like programmed.
Yeah,
that's the problem. We can't wait around to try to get people a change of heart when we're programmed and they're programmed. And, you know, another thing is a lot of white people, black people can't expect for white people in mass to speak up, because the same way black people are afraid to speak up against racism, some of them, is the same way some white people are. And white people have more to risk because they're actually, you know, you looked at, people can be looked at bad if you like, well, why are you going against such and such? You know, think about the people with that Ahmaud Arbery case. You think that some of the people are mad that they turned that video in? You know, like, hey man, you trade. Yeah, but I like it. I like that it's on camera because we get to see their true colors, like Cyndi Lauper. So remember that song, True Colors. True colors. Let's see your true colors. That's all. Don't be ashamed to be racist if you're racist. That's what the white folks need to, if you're racist, because it seems like they miserable having to pretend to not be racist when they can't really be themselves. And ironically, I don't think we can make as much progress because they feel like they have to pretend. And they can't just be honest about their feelings and their fears.
I told you this 100 times, man. You know, I told you this 100 times. Never, if no one's ever seen this show, you know, I've talked about this 100 times. They just want to ignore the fact that racism exists. They're like, oh, I'm not racist. I don't see color. Yeah, well, that's bullshit. You know, like, we're talking about the same situation. It comes up to me. Like, first thing that comes up to me is like, man, I know how I can get this guy. I know how I can get him.
Damn, that's fucked up.
Yeah, some black man was doing this to me. You know, like, I know that, but I won't, and I never will in my life, and I won't do it.
So I text you. Well, I didn't text, but I tweeted your boy Tim Weiss because I told you Tim Weiss is a big fraud, and when I texted him, when I tweeted him the one time, he started making up stuff. So I texted him yesterday. I basically said, hey Tim, man, I know you're trying to do good things out here and you want to help, so please help us identify undercover racist. And he didn't respond to that one though. He responded to a couple of other ones, but he didn't respond to that question. So obviously he don't have no solutions. If somebody keep talking about something and they don't have no solutions, they should just shut up until they can find a solution at that point, in my opinion. Because basically what he does is he pretty much just try to put down white people for his own personal gain, but he ain't really trying to do nothing. If you keep telling somebody you're bad, so what, you know, when you tell a racist you're bad, racist, you're bad, okay, you think how much headway you gonna make just telling somebody they bad?
Man, like, I don't feel that way.
I'm asking you a question directly. How much headway do you think you're gonna make with somebody if you keep just saying you're bad, you're stupid? You really think that person gonna want to listen to you? Whether you know, even if they need to correct behavior, do you think they're gonna listen to you if you telling them you're bad, you're stupid, all this other stuff, but you ain't offer no solution? You just basically he just basically name call him, and he getting paid.
I'm talking about Tim Weiss.
Yes, we're talking about Tim Weiss.
All right. Look at me, for example. What I do is I try to unlearn what I learned and what you learned. You know, I try to unlearn what I learned through the media. Now, I think it was the media. I really do. Right. You know, so I'm trying to unlearn, because every time they put someone who did this or did this thing bad or did this other thing bad or, you know, whatever, it's always a black person. And I'm like, yeah, no, man. I know a lot of black people, and they're pretty cool. They're all right. You know, like they're good people.
I was going to ask you, so why is there white people out here that, obviously there's some good black people, right? Obviously there's some black people that actually work hard, right? Obviously there's some black people that actually are smart and actually are willing to better themselves.
99%. I would say 99%.
So why does a white person hate somebody that they don't know simply because of the color of their skin?
Well, you know, I'm gonna counter that is like, why does a black person hate, you know, another black person that has, you know, quote unquote good hair, or, you know,
they insecure.
You know, and why does it happen?
Well, because of insecurity. They feel the person has something that they lack, so they get jealous.
It's how we grew up, man. You know, it's media. It's how we grew up.
Yeah, and I get that. I get that.
Let's go back to the point. So, you know, got this lady. She inherently knew. By the time she grew up to the time wherever she was when that video was taken, she just knew.
Yeah. So she just reacted to her programming. She got emotional and that programming just kicked in. That's all. You know, right. The unconscious kicked in. If she was consciously thinking, if she wasn't being so emotional, maybe, whether she racist or not, but maybe she would have handled it different. But she got emotional. She got called out by this black guy. And
all of a sudden
that programming kicked in. Yeah.
She knew.
The subconscious kicked in.
she knew. She called the cops, and she was like, "Yeah, this black man trying to fuck me, man. He's fucking me up. He's trying to ruin my life."
Yeah, that's messed up. That's sick. That's just sick. I mean, really,
Well,
it's sick. I mean,
it's the truth, man.
right. I told you racism is a mental illness because you can only learn so much if you have a racist mindset. Like I said, I didn't watch this footage. I heard about it. And so we're talking about the guy in Minnesota. Like I said, I didn't see it. I'm just hearing about it. But obviously, there was an officer that was on the guy's neck and he suffocated the guy. They're calling it murder. A lot of people are calling it racism, police brutality. And he basically told them he couldn't breathe. And from what I understand, the police officers were pretty nonchalant about it and really didn't care. Yeah, four of them. One of them was Asian, I guess. And they were talking about the Asian minority coalition doesn't exist, basically. But for me, a lot of black people are confused because they either don't know or living in denial. When you live in a racist system and people do racist things, then you kind of shouldn't be surprised. You know, this is just one of those things that happen when we live in a racist society. I think we should have more training on how to actually deal with police officers and try to just be as polite as possible, because for me, like I said, I believe my perspective is that anyone that's a racist is, like I said, it's a mental illness. So they are beyond reason in certain aspects. So I'm not going to try to reason with them. I'm not even going to get emotional with them because I don't feel that they can actually comprehend what I would tell them if it goes against their beliefs.
Well, it's a good way to deal with it, and it is. It's an illness. It's one of the worst ideas ever plugged into society is racism. Because black people are racist, against other black people, yada, yada, yada. Let's take racism out of this particular one, okay? Let's just take the cop. Like, no one taught you to fucking put your knee on someone's neck.
Yeah, it's disrespectful.
No one taught you that.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. You like take race out of it. Like, no one taught you to put your knee on someone's neck. And all the other three guys, like, what the fuck are you doing?
So what were the other three guys doing?
Just fucking watch.
Okay.
They just fucking watch, and it really makes me mad. Now, I appreciate police. I really do. Like, I understand what you do for us. So, like, I get it. That's okay.
Right. Not all cops are bad. Right.
Yeah, not all cops are bad.
But there is a racist element because there are some undercover racists on the force, and they don't have name tags that say, "Hey, I'm a racist," so you need to be suspicious of every white cop or non-black cop, I should say, and even some of the black cops.
You're right. So let me finish my point. So the woman taking the video, she sounded like a black woman. Like, I can't really, she didn't sound white, but at the same time,
did she sound ghetto?
I don't know if she sounded hood or what.
Right.
Yeah, like, no, I don't know the fuck now. But, if I was the one taking the video, man, like, I would have tackled that cop.
As a white man, you would have tackled him? Do you think he would have got shot?
As a white man, no, exactly. And that's exactly why I would have done it. Because as a white man, I would have tackled that motherfucker. Yeah, and I know no one's going to shoot me. And this wouldn't even be a story.
Well, I guess he didn't even shoot the guy. He just pretty much smothered him. Like,
Look, I don't care if that dude ate baby. Like, I literally don't care what that dude's crime was. Because, like, a guy got killed for selling Lucy's, all that shit. So he's like, oh, I'm not going to tase him. I'm just going to put my knee on his neck. No, fuck you, man. Even Ted Bundy had his day in court. Ted Bundy had, a month.
But he was white, right?
But he was white.
Right. So there you go. Look at that Dylan Roof guy.
Like,
they took him to Burger King. Now, there's a couple of people I want to get on here in regards to this, what I saw today.
Man, I'll tell you right now, it's like, both of my parents are Trump supporters. They're very conservative, stuff like that. And, I talked to my dad about it today, and he was like, no, man, that dude was a cop. He was a cuff. What the fuck is he going to do? Those cops need more than being fired.
So what should happen?
They need to be tried, man.
They need to be put in prison because from what you all say, it sounds like murder. This is what everybody is saying, that he pretty much, if somebody's telling you I can't breathe and you nonchalantly don't do anything about it, then you probably don't want them to breathe.
No, and so let's look at this from any aspect, right? So you and I, we worked in an office situation, right? When someone becomes a manager, all of a sudden they just feel like they owned you, right? I feel like, unfortunately, that's how some cops, it's like, oh, I'm the manager now. I'm going to do what I want. And, like, they get that little bit of power, and they kind of put it down on it. And, I'm not okay with that. It's not cool.
What do you think we should do to get justice? Because you said go to trial, but I don't see where there's anything to kind of dispute if it's on camera. I mean, they should go to jail for a long period of time. What do you think?
I think they fired those guys.
They did.
So they wouldn't have to go trial, because those guys, honestly, all four, just like they treat any of the guys. Like, you go out with your buddy, you're in the car, buddy goes out, your buddy goes and kills a guy. Oh, fuck.
Right. So they're accessories to murder.
Yeah, you're all murderers.
Right. From what I understand, nobody protested it and say, hey, come on, let them go. Come on. So I was watching Undisputed. Shannon Sharp and Skip Bayless were talking about it.
Shannon Sharp.
Yeah. So Shannon Sharp tried to basically blame the president for this situation. He is smart, but he's confused or he's scared. That's usually what happens when you a racism denier, when you don't want to see the truth. Because the whole thing, with a lot of black people, they want to be accepted by white people so bad that they don't want to admit that one of their friends might be racist. Because they don't want to do anything about it. That's the thing. Black people don't want to take responsibility. A lot of black people don't. I'm just telling you, they looking for a leader to, and you know what? It's something he said too. He said it's up to white people to solve racism, basically. Like, why is it up to white people? Isn't it your responsibility to put yourself? Because if you're waiting for white people, you might be waiting for a long time. You can't wait for somebody else to do the right thing. It's up to us to change the way we deal with white people and be self-sufficient. Another thing, this MGTOW movement. What I've been telling you, what I see on the internet, you got MGTOW, and I've been trying to tell you this. That's
man and woman, though. That's man and woman.
I understand that, but it's men going their own way. So I think there's going to be something called Big Town, and it's blacks going their own way. Because the more you see this stuff in the news, the more we have President Trump. Not that President Trump is the root of the problem, but he's such a blatant white supremacist that Trump is so unapologetic about being who he is that some other people they try to make it like, well, other people aren't voting. But we've always had this racism. We have racism from the conservatives and the liberals, as you saw with the lady in Central Park. So eventually blacks, what I see is eventually there's going to be a split. There's already like a civil war inside the black community, and there's going to be a time where black people just split off from white people. From what I see, from what I'm seeing, you can't keep putting this stuff in people's faces, because the whole thing is, what black people can't even run from it anymore because it's so blatant, And like I said, you can't wait on white people to do the right thing, because if you're afraid, what do you think the white people are? It's white people that are afraid to speak up too, because they have stuff to risk also. This is what he was saying. Please feel our pain. And like, dude, they're racist. They actually get off on making you feel pain. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then he's like, we're human. He actually said, we're humans too. Dude, we're the original humans. Like, what he's confused. See, we're dealing with confused people and their cowardice. Not to say Shannon is a coward, but his confusion and his ignorance is actually endangering other people, because he refuses people like him. They refuse to see the truth. But go ahead. What were you going to say?
No. I was trying to help you finish your point. Like,
sorry about that.
I get it. No, it's all right. You want to use soapbox, that's okay. It's all good.
All right.
And, a feeling, man. Like I said, like, I'm here to learn. Like, whoever hears this, just tell me. Like, tell me how I'm wrong. And I'm okay.
Right, I might be wrong. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. I'm here to learn also.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
I don't know everything. If I knew everything, I wouldn't be able to learn anything new. So
yeah, we're here to learn. That's why we get along. So
he called for Tom Brady.
Who's he against?
Shannon Sharp. So he said, Tom Brady, JJ Watt, I need y'all to speak out on this. So if they don't speak out on it, what is he gonna do? Does that mean that they are compliant with it, or if they don't speak out, see, black people waiting on white people to make the move.
What's unfortunate is, like, during the march, right? Like, there was a march over that bridge in Birmingham and
Selma.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Selma. I'm sorry.
I don't know. I mean, I just heard about it. I don't think it's a noble thing to get your butt whooped on a bridge and brag about it. Hey, we got our butt whooped. You lost.
You butt whooped, but at the same time, you might have lost, but what you did was you have to get the party that is opposing you to help you. Now, the Black Panthers didn't think that, and a lot of people didn't think that. But here's all I care about, honestly, and I'm going to leave you with this, and please post this, is I have a lot of black friends, a lot of white friends, yada, 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 yada. I don't count them on my hand. And I know my white privilege. Well, I don't count you.
Okay.
Motherfucker. But honestly, like, is we all have to have each other, you know, and these two instances really upset me. They really upset me because what happens is, you know, just like, you know, a lot of white people look at, you know, black people is like, oh yeah, this one black person did this, yada yada, or the third. You know, they're going to look at me like, oh, this cop put his knee on this guy's head. No, fuck that guy. No, fuck him and everybody who was watching. No,
Is that what you're saying? The cop is saying?
No, that's what I'm saying to that cop.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, fuck that cop and everybody who was watching. You were wrong. You should have done something. And that bitch in Central Park.
So what do you think black people should do to counteract racism? Or what do you think white people should be doing to counteract racism?
White people need to learn, man. They need to learn from other white people that have black friends and are trying to learn, like people like me. And what they need to do is they need to pick up books written by black authors, and they need to read those books. You know, like, it's not on the onus. Like, you don't go up to your black friend and touch their hair and go, hey, tell me what it's like being black. You know, I really want to understand. No, that's not how it works. No, you put your work in. You read these books written by black authors, and you start to figure it out. And then when you're done doing that, you teach other black people.
Teach other black people. Hey, y'all done miseducated us enough already. I'm good on that. Thanks for no thanks.
I said white people.
Okay.
You know, I corrected myself.
Okay, no problem.
Don't be a dick.
No problem. I wanted to ask you about this. One thing Skip Bayless said is he was talking about Colin Kaepernick, and he said he thinks that Colin Kaepernick, the protests were for nothing, and he said the marching did nothing. Do you think marching is effective, or do you think it's just a waste of our time? Because I feel like it's a waste of time, and it's just because the whole thing is, if a person is racist and they don't care about you, they're not really affected by your marching. You have to take other actions to really, you have to punish them, basically.
Well, I talked about this on Facebook, you know, earlier today, because, like, it's true. So that guy kneeled on some guy's head, and they were like, we kneel because this guy kneeled on this motherfucker's neck.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, you know, I understand that. And people forget, we used to burn flags. That's our right. That's our motherfucking right. That was Colin Kaepernick's motherfucking right.
But he's black, and he was talking about racism, and people don't really like that.
Well, you know, it's his right, man. It's freedom of speech, freedom of expression. That's exactly what that motherfucking flag stands for. But what a lot of people don't understand.
Well, that's what they say it stands for, but that's not really true.
No, you know what it's become? It's become a symbol. You know,
a symbol for what?
It's actually become an idol. An idol. You know, so people look at that. You don't ever disrespect the flag. No, fuck you. You know, that flag's here, and I'm here because of that flag. I'm allowed to say whatever the fuck I want. You forget about the 70s. You forget about the 80s. You forget about all this shit.
Yeah, but I don't think his kneeling was effective though. It seems like he would have been better off pushing for legislation, you know, in Congress to actually, you know, get some stuff passed to where, you know, you automatically get punished. I mean, because it's really, when you really break it down, it's sad because it makes me think, well, the people that want to associate with evil, maybe they're not good people either. Because when you see a person kill somebody and then you make up excuses for it, then you down with that, you know?
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, so yeah. I'm not really trying to associate with evil, because if somebody hates you, you need to be trying to get away from them. You need to avoid them and not being around them. If you don't like somebody, the both of you should kind of stay away from each other.
Put out there raw, man. This is not something we can put out there raw.
Why not?
So you're gonna have to edit it. But you know, like when it comes to the flag, like what the flag represents to me is basically what you're talking about, right? What it represents to you, you know, stuff like that. What it represents to me is like represents free speech. It represents, like, you know, I believe all those guys died for that. Yeah, I appreciate it. But they died for my right to be able to say, I thought that the reason that this dude died was bullshit.
Yeah.
You know? you know, and people don't like that.
Yeah.
People don't like that.
Yeah.
You know, and I believe that, you know, that flag was there. It was built on the backs of slaves. People don't like that. But you know what? That flag represents the fact that we are all here, and it represents free speech, man. So if Cap, you know, we're still talking about this. You know, this motherfucker hasn't had a job, which is so fucking unfortunate. But this motherfucker has been blacklisted, you know.
So then that lets you know that maybe, well, I don't know if he was blacklisted or not. He had the tryouts, but so I don't know. But it's possible he was blacklisted.
Oh, shit. You know, pick one backup that he's not better than.
Well, if he was blacklisted, then that means that the owners are compliant with racism and police brutality, because that's what he was speaking out against. But are any of those athletes going to speak out against the owners?
Well, you know what I feel like is that, and that's what really hurts me, is like, you know, all these people talk about it, you know, parents, you know, my parents, you know, the other people, you know, they talk about it, you know, like, no, you never disrespect the flag. Like, how can you fucking disrespect the flag?
Right.
That flag stands for everything.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a deflection.
Everything.
Well, people are deflecting and they're trying to deal with the real issue because they're insecure about their position and having to explain themselves.
All you care about is, like, he had imperfect, you know, and
he had an afro.
He had an afro.
That was threatening.
Like, and you know, Black Lives Matter. Like,
hey, look, let me ask you this. When you say Black Lives Matter, so Black Lives Matter, so obviously you come in at a position of weakness when you say something like that. Have you ever heard anybody say White Lives Matter?
No, we don't have to worry about it because we know it.
Okay, there you go then.
Right? I mean, let's just be serious about it. Yeah, we know.
Right.
We know.
Right. So black people know their lives don't matter, and they're trying to get racist people to change their mind and say, hey, accept me, racist man, instead of accepting yourself. See, this is low self-confidence and unwillingness to take responsibility, because I can't change somebody from being racist. I don't even want to waste my time doing it. If you don't like me, just stay away from me.
Well, I'm not going to be dick about it, but like,
I'm just saying, that's just my opinion. You live your life the way you feel is best for you. I live my life the way I feel is best for me. I'm just giving you my opinion.
Nuts and bolts. I'll put it to you like this, man. Is you can call me a cracker all day. I really don't give a shit. You know, you can say like, well, our lives matter. You know, like, as a white man, I'm talking for all white people here, not myself. But like, honestly, you know, call me a cracker. Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm a cracker living in a better house, better credit. Go eat a dick. You know, like, you know, say, well, Black Lives Matter. Yeah, I'm sure they do. Well, go find a place where they do.
Damn.
All right, see you later. You know, well, that's how white people think.
Yeah, I got it. And so black people are just like that that stray cat trying to get somebody to put out a cup of milk. You know, just trying to get some attention. Somebody take me in.
I'm not gonna lie. Like I feel that's how America thinks. It's not how I think, but I feel like that's how America thinks, and I know exactly how white people think. And you know, like we were talking about, like with racism, you gotta unlearn, man. You gotta unlearn how you grew up. You know, I'm almost 40 years old, man. And I'm trying to unlearn this shit.
Yeah, it takes work. You've been brainwashed. I want to speaking about brainwashing. There's this guy named Michael Porter Jr. He's a basketball player. He tweeted something.
Wait, hold on. Before you talk about that, have you been brainwashed?
Yeah, we've all been brainwashed. Yeah. That's why you got to unlearn it. You got to unlearn it. Yeah, but so this guy Michael Porter Jr. He's a basketball player for the Denver Nuggets. He tweeted something out like 6 hours ago. This is what he tweeted out, man. So you tell me if you think this guy's coming from a position of strength or weakness. And he's like a mixed basketball player, just to give you some context.
Insight.
Yeah. Okay. So he says, as much as I pray for the George family, gotta also pray for the police officers who were involved in this evil. As hard as it is, pray for them instead of hate them. Pray that God changes their hearts. Now, when you hear something like that, is that coming from a position of strength or weakness?
I think it's coming from a position of, well, I don't know where his heart is, man, but you know, I think it's very much strength. Like I think what he's really praying for.
Sir. Is he coming from a position of strength or weakness?
Strength.
That's a damn lie. That's that old programming. That old programming kicked in. Ain't no coming from no position of strength.
No, don't tell me what I'm saying, man.
Praying. He's praying.
No.
Praying is going to change. We're going to pray that they change their hearts. Well, what if they don't ever change their hearts? Then what? Then what are you going to do? See, that's the thing. If and what are you going to do? So if it is racism, what should we do?
Now. Yeah, I'll tell you right now.
And if it is, what are you going to do about it?
I'll tell you right now. If any of those dudes come out, like any of those 3 other dudes, because I'll tell you right now, if I was right there, I would have done something. I know I would. I absolutely motherfucking know I would. I know I would. And, if I was like, yo, stop it. But if I was, his partner, I'm feeling like hopefully his partners feel like they're like, man, we kind of fucked up.
We kind of fucked up. They killed somebody. Or killed.
Well, all they're going to do is going to think like, we kind of fucked up here.
Damn. So you killed the original human, God's creation. Most of them, I'm pretty sure they're saying they're Christian. And they killed God's first.
Man, you asked me a question. Do you want me to answer it or not?
Go ahead, man.
Do you want me to answer it or not?
The original humans. This is ridiculous.
Hold on.
Shannon Sharp said, "We're humans too. We're part of the human race." You idiot. We are the humans.
Right,
Go ahead.
No, fuck the question, man. You want me in?
All right. Well, hey, man. Like I said, Michael Porter Jr. talked about pray for the police. What? He's one of those Stevens, man. I don't like to talk trash about people like that. But for you to say that, pray for them instead of hate them. Hey, look, man. If it was a race war,
If
it was a race war, whose side do you? Yeah, you should never hate. You should never hate. But I'm just saying, you still need to punish people for their deeds. Now, if it was a race war, do you think Michael Porter Jr. will be on the black side or the white side? He got a choice: black side or white side. Whose side do you think he's gonna be on?
Whatever the winning side is, probably.
Okay.
Like honestly, like it sounds to me like so Michael Porter Jr. is a black guy, right?
He's black, but he's mixed. I'm pretty sure he considers himself biracial, is what they call it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah, we talked about this. No, you're not biracial. You're fucking black. You're
right.
White,
right.
Black.
Well, they don't want to believe it. But it's good that you said that. But because I told you, they'll believe what a white person say before they believe what a black person say. Even if the black person say the same thing, they will question it.
And I'm just kind of hard, man. It's just like, if you're white, you're black. That's how the world feels about you. Like in America, like get over it. If you're not white, you're black.
Damn, you just bust a lot of people's bubble, man.
I mean, am I wrong?
I don't think so. But you would know more than me. And like I said, if I say it, they're gonna argue with me. They're gonna get frustrated.
Nah, let's put it this way: if you're not white, you're not white. Right. So, like, I don't know, say if you're white, you're black, but yeah, that's how a lot of white people look at things, man. And me personally, if anybody wants to know, who's listening to this, is like, I kind of just float. I float out here. I'm still white. I'm still white. I'm still male. I'm still 100% white, 100% male. All that shit. But I watch all this shit going on, and I'm like, man, I can't believe, I don't give a fuck what anybody else does, but I can't believe how people treat each other.
Right.
And I'm not cool with it.
And it's actually messing up the morale of all of us. It messes up the morale of the white people, the black people, other Americans, because you have to see this. And maybe we need to have these uncomfortable conversations. We don't want to have uncomfortable conversations, so it's hard for us to progress as a country. And,
uncomfortable conversations are the best, man. They're the best. They make progress.
Yeah, but you get so many emotions involved. That's why nobody, like I said, Shannon Sharp was blaming Trump basically for this. It's like, it's not, Trump is only one person. Like he's not the only one.
And honestly, he's worthless. He gets elected for another 4 years. Like, who gives a shit? He does nothing. He does nothing.
Hey, man, like Kanye said, man, if he don't look good, we don't look good. So you got to understand that's still our president.
I understand that, and I really believe in that. Actually, I'm still our president, but I'll tell you right now, my president is kind of a douche. So.
Yeah. I told you he can be on Wild 'N Out. If you ever go to his Twitter feed, man, he do a lot of he be trying to roast people a lot on there, man. Like, wow.
He would get murdered, man. He would get murdered.
I don't know. Trump, he be having some zingers on there, man. But yeah, Michael Porter Jr. Real quick though, man. That Michael Porter Jr. type, nah, gotta separate for now. They'll be like you said, they on the winning side. They'll go on the winning side. They flip floppers.
Like let's recap. Like the girl in Central Park, don't let them know our game, man. Like.
Don't let them know our game.
I know. Yeah, I know I can say, like, you're black and, I can get you arrested. Like, why would you do that?
Yeah, she just, yeah, right. She just spilled the beans, and we got it on camera. She spilled the beans, man. Right. Yeah, she was all cold. That's what happens. So emotional.
She ruined the whole game.
Right.
And as far as what happened to the man that
George Floyd. Rest in power, George Floyd. Yeah.
Rest in power, George Floyd. Thank you. So to the family of George Floyd, everybody, every single cop in that place was wrong. They need, I understand they've been fired, but that's not enough. That's not enough.
So what is the punishment? What's a just punishment?
A just punishment is some kind of jail time for all those guys. Like, they talk about it in the Bible, and I really don't know it right now, but, I'm going to try to riff it, is, it's just as bad to be a person that witnesses a bad deed as it is to be a person that did the bad deed. And thank you to the woman that took the video.
It's good that we got that.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having the foresight to, take the video. Hopefully we can get this man some justice.
Yeah.
Firing is not enough. Firing is not enough.
And speaking of Bible verses, there's one Bible verse that, I think is relevant for today also, which is Jeremiah. Woe unto him that buildeth his house by unrighteousness, and his chambers by injustice, that useth his neighbor's service without wages, and giveth him not his hire. So woe to those people. The Bible, see, they talk about that Bible stuff. Let's see, when are they actually going to do something for God? When are they claim to be soldiers for God, but really they just sit on their butt and just say pray, but they never really do any work and actually take responsibility for their actions.
Man.
So it's a front.
I don't know, man. Like we have to start doing this live, because I have a lot of people that would love to call in, and I'm going to put this link out.
Yeah, we can do it live. Well, we are live right now, but I know what you're saying. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
I'd like to do it live. I love our conversations, but I was really mad today. I was just really mad today. Like, something that didn't even happen. Like, okay, you fired the guys. Like, who gives a fuck? Like, charge those motherfuckers.
They were rioting in Minnesota also.
Well, they should. They absolutely should. They should be angry. They should riot. That's the new, march is, rioting. They're absolutely right, but one thing for people rioting is what I will say is, don't get yourself arrested, man.
Yeah.
Don't get arrested.
Right. They send Antifa out there, to stir up trouble. Yeah,
stay out of trouble. Don't get yourself arrested. I understand you're angry. I get it. As a white man, I get it as much as I can, obviously. But, man, don't put yourself in danger. And if you are white, honestly, just rush the cops. I mean, honestly, if you're going to riot, I mean, that's what you can do for the struggle.